The Warcraftbible!
In an MMO, such as the likes of World of Warcraft, a game where when you get bored, you can transition into collecting items, whether mounts, transmog, or anything. There are some items that might just be out of your grasp unless you reach a new level of grinding. Today we're going to be discussing the 10 rarest items in World of Warcraft's history. Starting with number 10, we have the Big Love Rocket, also known as the Pink Dildo Mount, for obvious reasons. Why is it hard to get one? Because it's only obtainable during the annual Lovers in the Air event for a few days. It drops from the heart-shaped box, but only once per day, and only during the event. And the drop rate? 1 in 3,333. Virtually impossible. In number 9, we have the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent, an awesome looking mount that was bugged for months and never dropped for anyone. Now it's fixed, and attainable from the Shah of Anger, world boss in Kunlai Summit. But the drop rate is still so low compared to the other world bosses that it's basically unknown. Based on 1 or 2 lucky drops, it's impossible to calculate the drop rate. In number 8, we have the Chromatic Sword. The sword's a popular transmog item because it's the only item with a rainbow glow, but there's a tiny problem. It's no longer in the game and can only be found on the auction house. Before Cataclysm, the sword was a 26% drop rate from a rare spawn in Stranglethorn called Scalebelly. It was constantly farmed by collectors, and some people even created level 55 Death Knights on various servers for the sole purpose of planting them at Scalebelly's spawn point. But Cataclysm changed the zone, and Scalebelly is now a low-level monster with a very different loot table, meaning that the Chromatic Sword no longer drops, and the only place to find it is on the auction house, but even then, if it shows up, it is stupidly pricey. In number 7, we have the Haunted Memento. This one's a bit silly. It's not a pet, nor is it a toy. It's pretty much a worthless item that summons an undead buddy who follows you around. Why is it rare then? Because the item was only available during the Wrath of the Lich King's launch event back in 2009 when the Scourge attacked Azeroth. So people either forgot about it, destroyed it years ago, or if they were lucky, they still have it in their bank. Now it goes for hundreds of thousands of gold on the auction house. In number 6, we have Poseidus. A few things make this mount much harder to grab than any other rare spawn. The monster that has the Seahorse mount is located in the underwater zone of Vasha, and searching for a specific mob underwater is a bit trickier than on dry land. Besides that, it only spawns once a week, and the 2 spawning locations are very far from each other. Good news though, it can be sold on the auction house, usually for 1 million gold. In number 5, we have the recipe Thistle Tea. It's a cooking recipe, and it's most likely the single rarest item in the game that still exists out there. The recipe was only available from the release of the game to patch 1.3 as a reward for a rogue-only quest, until the whole quest was removed, so it hasn't been obtainable for over 10 years now. But still, some players haven't learned the recipe, they've either kept it in their bank tab, and they occasionally put it up on the auction house for a ridiculously horrible price. In number 4, we have the Time Lost Proto-Drake. It's called Time Lost for a reason. A unique flying mount with multiple spawning locations, and even with the target macros and relentless camping, it's basically impossible to find one. It flies around the Storm Peaks, a huge zone with huge snowy mountains, and a significant amount of other proto-drakes. Some people even think that it changes realms during its flight, just to make things more cruel. I'd probably say that finding a needle in a haystack is much easier than finding a time-lost proto-drake. And number 3, we have Zerothian's Fire Stick. It's a very unique looking collector's favourite gun, but it's quite tricky to get one. The gun's a rare drop for hunters, from a boss that only warlocks can summon in Dire Maul. The problem is, this boss was a part of a quest chain for the warlock mount that was removed years ago, so the only warlocks that can summon the boss are the ones who did the quest chain back then, and even after finding someone who can do it, the drop rate for the gun is still significantly low. In number 2, we have Zinrock, the Destroyer of Worlds. Also Destroyer of Sanity and Time, because it's so rare. This one's an archaeology reward for solving troll dig sites. Some archaeology mounts are pretty rare, but they're nothing compared to this one. And it's bind to account, so you have to solve troll projects until it pops up. There's no other way to obtain it, but it just won't happen, don't even try. It's a 1 in 1500 chance. If however you are a lucky one to have gotten this, congratulations, you're insane. Honestly, this whole list would be nothing without mentioning the Anchorage battle tank mount that you could only get within 24 hours of the Gong at AQ being opened, provided you had finished the incredibly long questline before it was rung. It was still available whenever Blizzard added new realms for a year or two, until all new realms were added, with the gates already open. In the 10 years I've been playing the game, I think I've seen the black bug once, ever. And that was still back in the vanilla and BC era. Well, on that note, that is going to conclude the video for today. I genuinely hope you guys did all enjoy it. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, and comment which rare items that you have. This has been the Warcraft Bible. Stay devoted.